Wow! Come on. Move it on.
I'm here at Ravenwood Coffee and Creations. We're here for Spookapalooza. It is rainy outside, but it doesn't matter. We're going to have fun anyway. So we're going to go in and talk to Dakota and get the scoop on what's happening. I'm here with Dakota, and he's going to tell us a little bit about where we're at right now.
Well, this is Ravenwood Coffee and Creations. It's a shop that my husband and I own right now. That was originally started up by my mother and I. We basically started off under a tent, humble beginnings, but because of the love of the community and supporting us, we've kind of escalated to where we are today. So because of the support that the community has received us, we have reached out to them, and we've been trying to do our best to help them as well. Local vendors, we allow them to sell stuff in our shop as well. We have like vendor spaces and everything. And then we also try to hold events like we had today, which was our very first Spookapalooza, which was a big vendor fair, which went fantastically from what I heard. We had a bunch of different things. We had people selling food, we had some food trucks out here, but we try to promote a family atmosphere, but not just your average everyday family, but any family. No matter what background you have, what religious beliefs you have, or even what orientations you may have. We are welcoming, and we're here for you, and we have coffee.
So let me ask you a question. Today I noticed a bunch of different beliefs, people with all different spiritual backgrounds. Mm-hmm. Do you mind talking about yours a little bit, what your spiritual background is?
I kind of just identify as the umbrella term of just pagan, because I'm currently still doing a lot of research into the different paths. I've looked into Norse paganism, Wicca, a bunch of other different stuff. So I guess you might say more eclectic. But yeah, I started looking into it when I was in high school, and my mom was looking into it too, just to make sure it was safe. You know, you hear your kids into paganism. Sometimes there's that stigma at first, unfortunately, but she actually fell into it too, and so now we looked into it together. Then my brother got into it, my husband is now too, and so yeah, we've been getting into that community. We're friends with everyone at Valhalla's Gates, and I know Samantha has told me about a bunch of different events, like I think it's Dragon Heart or Dragon Fest, one of the two options. But yeah, no matter what your religious or spiritual faith is, we welcome you here, whether it be any branch of paganism, Christianity, Jewish.
Everybody's welcome.
Your faith is valid.
Let me ask you a question. Out here in Clarksville, is there any challenges that you find as far as your belief system, or is it pretty welcoming as far as paganism?
Everything that I've experienced has actually been not really all that negative. About the only thing is, like, when I was in high school, I was walking around with my pentacle, and I had people ask me if I was Jewish, and obviously I would explain to them that what it actually was and the difference between them. And I also was afforded an opportunity in college in my speech class. I gave a whole presentation about basically the misconceptions of paganism, and that was actually received very well. I had a lot of people ask me questions. I was able to draw on the board and show them the differences between certain symbols and stuff like that. And everyone wasn't really that negative about it. They were all very intrigued and curious, because no one's actually ever talked to them about it like that.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I'm going to take a look at the little wares you've got over here and show everybody how unique your coffee shop is.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, bye. A lot of these wares are by local vendors. We have local artists' art. This is Tiny the Dragon. This is the shop's pet. The list of drinks and options are endless.
My name's Tim Samsel. I'm with Smoking Tree Acrylics. I do wood burning and I do acrylic work. And this is some of the things that I do. Here's some bowls. I do. I make these lamps. Here's a spirit board that I made. These are real skulls in there, porcupine quills, feathers. Here's a big bull that I did. So, yeah, that's what I do. I do it as a hobby, not a business. Everybody tells me to keep, ask me for cards and business cards and stuff, and I wish I could do it full time, but I just don't have the time to do it because I have another job I have to go to. But I enjoy doing it, and sometimes I do commission work when I got the time. So,
how do we get in touch with you? Facebook?
Facebook is fine. It'll be under Tim Samsel.
Okay, great. And we can get you through Atalanta Moonfire as well.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Tim, so I have a question for you. What do you think happens after we die?
After you die, what I feel, there's new souls and there's old souls. And the new souls, I guess, you're on this planet to learn, okay? And I feel that if you're a newer soul, that you'll be reincarnated and brought back here until you are, I guess the word would be, enlightened. And then you keep repeating that until, I guess, you get enlightened, and then you can move on to another realm. I ain't gonna say it's heaven or hell because I don't know. Nobody knows. But the Hindus, they believe that too, that you get reincarnated and stuff. So I kind of feel that's the way it is. The older souls, do they get reincarnated and brought back here? Probably, but not as much. So, I mean, that's how I kind of feel about it. You got to learn, I guess, the mistakes in all your past lives to move on. So that's how I feel about what happens to you after you pass away.
That sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you.
Blessed be.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, hi. We're here at Spookapalooza in Clarksville, Tennessee, and this is
Danielle Galvin.
Hi, Danielle. How are you?
Good.
So, when you think of magical moments, what comes to mind?
So the first thing that comes to mind for me is before I started my business, before I even had the idea of starting a business, I was just doing a meditation of like speaking with my ancestors and listening for advice from them. And they actually gave me an exact recipe, full ingredients, full name of a product. And it's actually one of the ones that I sell. It's my ears balm. And it was very clear and concise. And they even told me like which ingredients needed to be wild crafted and everything to put in it. And that one product kind of led me to developing the idea for my business and being able to see that the life that I want is actually attainable as being like a homesteader and growing my own herbs and being able to teach herbalism to the community and help people be able to help themselves. So that is like the best magical moment that has happened for me, like developing my business and my passion through my ancestors.
That's beautiful. I work with ancestors. So I did not know that that you worked with ancestors. Yes. So that's really amazing. Okay, can you kind of tell us just a little bit about your stuff? So
yes.
Let me get your sign in here. And yeah, definitely tell us a little bit about what you have.
Yes, so I am a herbalist. My business is Herbaceous Goods. I sell everything from teas to alcohol extracts, body oils, salves. I also do custom formulations and I teach herbalism as well. And I teach herbalism from a like traditional medicinal standpoint, but also magical standpoint as well, to use herbs within, whether it's witchcraft or for manifestation, all sorts of things.
Okay, well that's fantastic. I'm going to take a couple more shots of your stuff. And I thank you for your time. Blessed be.
Thank you.
Okay, we're here with Jim, and we're at Athens Pagan Pride. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Well, Athens Pagan Pride Day, we were affiliated with the National Pagan Pride Project. The first Athens Pagan Pride Day was organized by a woman named Atalanta back in 2008. And the next year, she decided she couldn't do it again. And she approached, at that time we had Athens Area Pagans Incorporated as an organization. Me and Michelle Foley had formed back in 2005. And we knew Kristen, and she came to us and said, I wish someone would keep Athens Pagan Pride Day going. Will you, mainly Michelle, take over? And Michelle Foley is our local coordinator. She's kind of the big boss of this group. She's not here right now. She's been here since before the crack of dawn today. So we took over organizing Athens Pagan Pride Day in 2009, and we have had some form of it every year since then, although in 2020 we tried to do an online version in conjunction with Atlanta, and that didn't really work very well. Last year we couldn't get a permit and wound up doing it on some land we owned. It was very informal, but we are back in downtown Athens for the first time in 3 years. I don't know, what else do you want to know?
That's just fantastic. What is the pagan community like out here?
Athens, they always say that organizing pagans is like herding cats, but in Athens it's worse than that, because although there's lots of pagans and witches and such running around, most of them are extremely averse to actually joining any organized groups whatsoever. So Athens is in a way a very pagan-friendly town, but it's very hard to get more than a few people to sit down and organize something. So we're constantly looking for new people. We were desperately trying to get people. I am, 13 years older than I was when we first started doing this, and I'm feeling it today.
Oh.
But we have some people. We need our group, Athens Area Pagans, we conceived it originally not to be any specific pagan path, but to be like a social network or a clearinghouse. And we did get 501c3 religious tax exemption in 2013. And so we're doing a lot of things. We have our own cloud servers that we own, and internal communication system. Well, while we were putting on yoga classes and things of that sort, but technically we don't represent any particular faith. Now, there is the River Temple of Athens is sort of an adjunct group, which is I describe it as an eclectic Wiccan circle. We do rituals regularly, and it's pretty much the same people who are the core of the AAP.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes and letting me interview you. And, well, we're going to get back to the...
Well, let me say one other thing,
okay,
if I might.
Absolutely.
If anyone wants to meet us, we meet every Saturday except when there are special events. But otherwise, every Saturday at 5 p.m. at Rabbit Hole Studios on Winterville Road in Athens. And anyone can come to those.
Okay, what time is that?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay, thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you.
Blessed be.
Glad you're here. Blessed be.
We're here with Angela at Athens Pagan Pride, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about spirituality.
Yeah, so I was getting into spirituality and paganism and whatnot as a way to maintain mental health after I came out of massive depression. And it really spoke to me how you could, get away from the very Christian part of your family, because my grandfather was my preacher, but still also say you were a good person, because you're raised as like Christians are the good people, and it's not the best. But I was looking for something to help me keep me out of depression. And then I got into the new agey stuff, which I guess a lot of people come in paganism through the crystals and the peace, love, and light, because that's what I needed at the time. Because I'd just come out of a massive bit of darkness, and I needed that balance of the very positive, and that really helped me. And then I kind of settled out into something now, which is a lot more nature-based. I have been told, you sound very Buddhist. Or I particularly like to focus on how we all fit into the energetic system, or just, life, because we're all part of this big old network. And you can't really take yourself out of that, because basically everything you do affects someone else, or affects other things, and then other people affect you. And that's kind of how I view things. Everything is this big energetic web that we're all part of.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you asked about spirit guides a little while back. I don't have spirit guides so much, but I do sometimes tap in just to see what's in the area. Like different places around town, you'll definitely feel different energies. Around the intramural fields up in the woods behind Lake Eric, there's a really old, very deep-seated energy there. When I was doing deliveries for AutoZone, I was a delivery driver, parts driver, and had 300 miles of routes that I would go. I somehow tapped into a spirit that watches over transportation, and got into a relationship with that entity, and would occasionally give offerings like, "We're going on the long run today. How you doing?" "We're doing good. I'll look after you. You look after me." So that was fun. That was a very friendly spirit. Interestingly enough, I was thinking about this the other day. My grandfather's churches is an Old Line Baptist, and they rotate churches every Sunday. They all have different energy and different spirits around it, which is also very interesting. So I don't have particular guides, but I do like to tap in and see what energies and what spirits are there.
That's interesting. So have you always worked with spirits, like from a young age, or is this something new?
I want to say not necessarily from a young age, because I was very stuck in there is one God and there is one way of things, and didn't really tap into things. But that sort of approach never sat well with me, and I struggled so much. And I was always into fantasy, so that was what I always was drawn to. So, no, it was definitely once I got into my early 20s that I started looking at other things and being able to tap into energy and see different things.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Oh, hey. Do you want to be interviewed too?
Seems like no. I was like, I'm out.
Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you, and I so appreciate it, and blessed be.
Oh, blessed be.
We're here with Inat at Athens Pagan Pride, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her spirituality. What is your spirituality, your practice?
I am wicked.
Okay, and can you elaborate a little bit on that, about your belief system?
Okay, well, we are an earth-based religion. We pretty much believe in all the gods, goddesses. We practice love. We practice balance. We incorporate all of the elements in our rituals and in our spells, and we're really good people, despite what people think on the outside.
So, are you part of a coven?
I am.
Okay, are you able to talk about that a little bit?
I am part of Witches of Moon Rock Mountain. We are a coven just outside of Covington, Georgia. We're a pretty new coven. Our priest, Lord Lucian, is a practicer. He is a priest of 3 different religions, Wicca being his most recent priesthood. And we have a beautiful thing out there. We have Lord Lucian and his partner have 90 acres and completely off-grid, and basically do our practicing out there, and it is very magical lands.
Beautiful, perfect. Okay, and you said this is in Covington, Georgia?
It's just outside of Covington, yes.
What is the pagan community like out in Covington? Is it big? Is it small?
I wouldn't say that it's big. I don't really think it's very talked about. It's still Georgia. It's still the country of Georgia, even though paganism and Wicca is a largely grown religion right now. I don't think they talk about it as much.
So, okay, as far as Wiccan, there's a lot of people out there that don't understand the difference between being a witch, being Wiccan. You know, how you can be a witch, you can be Wiccan. What's the difference? Do you understand what I'm asking? Can you explain that a little bit better for me, please?
Okay, so you can practice Wicca, but until you are a first degree initiate, you are not termed a witch. You can practice Wicca, you can practice paganism, and you can be dedicated as a pagan, but technically in Wicca, in my religion, you are not a witch until you have your first degree initiation.
Okay, so the people that you, and I'm just asking because I'm ignorant, okay, when it comes to the Wiccan religion, okay, I only know what I've read. So if somebody's out there and they're reading books on Wicca and they're practicing witchcraft, technically they're not considered a witch yet, is that correct? Or can they self-initiate? I mean, do you see where I'm going with this?
I mean, technically, the way our coven is, we are not concerned with titles.
Okay.
A lot of Wiccan covens are, and a lot of them are very to the book. We are not as concerned with titles as much as it is what's in your hearts and what's in your intent. If you buy a lot of books, technically I guess you could be considered a witch and you could initiate yourself. But what are those books? Are you buying 4 or 5 different books written by different practitioners? What is it? What actual religion is it that they are teaching you? Because there are variations of paganism, there's variations of Wicca, just like any other religion, just like Christianity, just like any other religion. So I believe it's more what you believe inside, but if you want to get technical with it, then technically under a larger covenant, you wouldn't be considered a witch unless you've initiated to those levels.
Okay, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, thank you so much for letting me interview you, and
Absolutely.
It was so good to meet you here at Athens Pagan Pride.
All right, thank you.
And blessed be.
Blessed be.
We're here at Magic City Conjure in Birmingham, Alabama. And okay, so why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Nathan Altina. I work here at Magic City Conjure. I've been working here for a while.
Well, good. It's good to meet you. And I have a question for you, Nathan. So what do you think a life well lived is?
I would say a life that is well lived is where you have a huge sense of self-fulfillment. Personally, I always thought a life well lived was being obedient and having a purpose, but after a while, I really don't think there is that much of a purpose if you don't sense that much of a purpose. I'm just kind, giving, and I use my gut in a lot of situations, and if it feels good, then I feel like I have fulfilled my purpose in that situation. I could probably die tomorrow and I still would feel happy because I feel fulfilled today.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful. What do you think the one most issue facing humanity today is?
That is honestly a really, really tough question to answer without someone else taking it political. The first thing that pops into my head is acceptance. People today have a hard time accepting their truths, accepting certain realities, accepting their failures, accepting pretty much everything. Acceptance is one thing that humanity has always struggled with, and action is not something that a lot of people are willing to do because they aren't willing to accept things.
Wow, I agree. Well, thank you, Nathan, so much. Thank you so much for taking the time out and let me bug you and ask you some questions. So,
Yeah.
blessed be.
Blessed be.